good evening. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our Wednesday evening edition, which is our midweek edition. Um, First, I'm going to introduce our co-host this evening. I'm going to start with the bottom and then go to the top. Mr. Eric Brown is joining us from Detroit in Black and White presents Reality Strikes. Eric has a show on Detroit in Black and White's channel every Monday evening from 8:30 to 9:30. He is also a contributing writer for Detroit News. He is an advocate of education. He's just that all around guy. Good evening, Eric Brown. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, and happy New Year's Eve to everyone.
Yep. And then we also have our guy, uh, the voice of reason sometimes, the,
Maybe
for-
not tonight.
the former chief of police for the Trenton Police Department, Jim Nardoni. Good evening, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Happy New Year to you and Eric and everybody else. Dwayla, Mr. 1213, Tasmanian 1721, and everybody else that's out there tonight. Thank you for joining us. We can see you. Hopefully you're somewhere safe and warm and dry because that snow is wet and nasty.
Uh-huh. And then, of course, we're missing Adolph. Adolph is out exploring, if you will. And Alan is not here tonight, but we're going to hold down the fort. We're going to have a spirited conversation this evening. Shout out to Stephanie Jackson. Steph, I did text you and I did call. I'm glad that you're okay, and I'm glad you're on Detroit Black and White. Listen, listen. You guys know what we want you to do. We want you to tell all your friends about the greatest show on these YouTube streets, Detroit in Black and White. You can catch us on all social media platforms. You can also join in the comment section, and we're going to give you a shout out, but you can also appear live here on Detroit in Black and White. There's going to be a QR code at the top. There is a QR code at the top of the screen. Do it like you do when you go to a restaurant. You just take your phone, hold the camera, you go to the camera, and then you could come on Detroit Black and White. If you don't want us to see your face, you could just say, hey, don't show video. We can hear your voice. But we want you to join Detroit Black and White. The other thing we need for you to do, this is really important. We need you to listen. Are you listening? Listen. We want you to like, subscribe, and share. It's free. It is free. It costs you nothing. So like, subscribe, and share. Okay, we're ready to get the show on the road. We do have two guests that's coming on a little later on this evening, but we're going to start with, I guess you, Jim, and Eric. You guys want to talk about Kentucky State, and I'll chime in. So who wants to start off?
Well, I'll start if it's okay with Eric.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not going to start. We're going to do a little road trip. We're going to start in Romulus, Michigan this weekend, Saturday night. Two young men were with their mother and their young brothers and sisters, and they were stabbed outside a hotel. They took the kids there to swim, and they were stabbed. And thankfully, or thankfully or not thankfully, somebody stopped the assault, used a firearm, and stop the assault. So before we get started, that was one thing I want to talk about. But before we get started, I want everybody kind of to untether their minds tonight. It's the new year, so let's all clean our brains and look at things through a fresh lens. So we started in Romulus on Christmas Day in Fowlerville. A man was enjoying the company of a young lady, it sounds like, and her estranged husband broke into the house and shot him twice. Well, he decided to fight back, and he killed the intruder, right? Good guy with a gun, bad guy with a gun. Are they both bad guys with a gun? We can talk about what happened in Wayne at the church. Church people stopped a mass shooting there. We can talk about Traverse City, mass shooting stopped with a firearm. But we're going to go all the way down to a place called Frankfort, Kentucky. I want everybody to think about some of these things. So the big news on Frankfort, Kentucky on December 9th of this year, a campus shooting. Kentucky State University in Frankfort has about 2,200 students, made national news. Another campus shooting, big news when it occurred. But this is what really happened. I think this is the rest of the story that people are not aware of. So this is kind of exactly what happened down there. Jacob Lee Bard, he and his wife, he's a 48-year-old man, family from Evansville, Indiana, sent his 2 young athletes to Kentucky State University to play baseball. You know, exciting, right? When you're a parent, you're sending your kid off to college. And somebody broke into, early in October, somebody broke into the dormitory and terrorized the people and stole what they stole and destroyed what they wanted to destroy. They went, so there was like 2 or 3 incidents. This kid was being terrorized, Mr. Bard's son. On December 8th, 20 or 30 people surrounded, non-students, it looks like mostly, surrounded his apartment, his dormitory, the area. He called his dad for help. His dad came to the university, met with the police department at the university. I think it's a police department, met with the school administration and said, you guys have to protect my kids. And they basically told him, we can't protect your kids. So the next morning, December 9th, he and his son and the police were approaching the building, and Eric's going to maybe talk a little bit more about this. And his son was viciously attacked. The father pulled out a firearm and shot 2 guys, 2 kids, 2 students. One died, one survived. All right. Good guy with a bad gun, bad guy with a gun. Is it bad? Where were the police? What were they doing? Can the government protect you? And I think we know the answer to that, because we can go over to Australia and talk about the heroics over in Australia. In Australia, you cannot have a gun for self-defense. In the United States, you can. So there's all kinds of studies that say this happens about 1 million, probably at least 1 million times a year, where somebody saves another life with a firearm. I don't know what the real stats are. Every Town USA says it happens 80,000 times a year. And they're the biggest gun grabbers in the country. So they're telling you that it happens 4 times as many times as someone's killed. The real question is, why isn't this big news at Kentucky State University? And Eric and I have been talking about that. My position is it's not big news because the propagandized world wants to tell you that it's always bad when there's a gun on campus. Instead, this man defended his family, his sons and his family, and sadly had to kill somebody, right? But it stopped, right? The day or 2 after that, you never heard anything more about it.
Right.
They decided not to charge him. A grand jury said this was absolutely self-defense, what he's entitled to do. And then it went away. My argument, which is different from Eric's, is it only went away because it's not bad news. It's good news for some people. So, Eric?
Well, just to add on to that, Jim, when he went to campus on the 9th, it was the result of him and his wife complaining to university, asking university to protect my kids, your students. And not all of the students involved, not all of the misfits involved were students of the university. They were students that mixed in with some bad people in the community. And on December 9th, when he went to retrieve his sons, because he was going to take them from campus because he felt that the campus was not doing enough to protect their kids, that's when a group of about 20 to 30 people approached them and actually started chaos. He, the good guy with a gun, legal carry, I'm not sure if, the other individuals prior to they had guns. I doubt it. They were on college campuses. If they had legal rights to be carrying a gun. And as the fracas broke out, the father defended himself, and that's why the grand jury did not indict him, because they found it to be self-defense. Stand your ground. The reason why it was only a 1-day story is a few, in my opinion. It was a historically black college and university, number one. And number two, it didn't fit the narrative of a white person coming on campus doing something of this nature, meaning there was not any one of a different race involved. And in America, unfortunately, black people as well as America are just pretty much desensitized to the violence that takes place when it's black on black. not to say that had the same incident occur in Lexington, Kentucky, and it was all black people, but because it was on a white campus, it would have been more than a one-day story. CNN, Fox News, NBC, ABC, CBS, all would have had a truck parked outside of wherever the incident took place still to this day. But unfortunately, it did not fit the narrative. It's no different than, there was an incident tonight in the Inkster area, right off Cherry Hill in Merriman. You had the incident with the bell ringer in Westland, a suburban community. But once it was deemed to be black on black, it didn't stay a story long. Fox 2 News, WDIV, WJBK, WXYZ, CBS Detroit 62. They didn't talk about it again until the young man was arraigned, 30-something-year-old young man. But then even that night, when it happened in Westland, it was that a 15 to 17-year-old black youth was the shooter of the gun. And then when you finally saw the actual perpetrator, he did not look 15 or 17. So I'm not even sure how that story got out there and was being reported. But down at Kentucky State, you have this predominantly black college, Frankfort, Kentucky, where probably a lot of people don't even know where it's at. You had people coming down from Evansville. The family was from Evansville. I think the guy that was killed was from Indianapolis. And then you had the parents of the deceased threatening the father and the mother via social media, and they were arrested, have since been released. But it just tells you how unfortunate it is, no matter how people go love their kids, no matter what. But wrong is wrong. And there was enough information from the university to report that your son was a menace, and that's probably why he is no longer with us today.
So
that's
Eric,
tragic. Anytime somebody.
So Eric and Jim, I'm going to ask you this question. Eric, you made a point to say black on black crime. Would you agree, though, that when you're talking about crime that happens in a neighborhood like a HBCU, the neighborhood is black, that whole thing, black on black crime, is crime. It happens to be in a black neighborhood. But because of the propaganda, people make a point to say, was black on black crime? We tired of black on black crime. Well, we should be tired of crime, period, wherever it takes place. I think that's sort of what Jim was kind of alluding to. And I also think that you're saying, Eric, that it was only a one-day story. It wasn't a large story because it involved black folks. Am I correct?
Correct. I mean, and not just that, let me say, when I say black on black, it involved black people shooting and one being unalive. And I'm not sure. I've never been to Frankfort, Kentucky, but I can speak to Talladega College. Talladega College is a black college, but it's not in a black community, unlike Howard, Morehouse, and some of the other black colleges. So it's not always because it's a black college, it's in a black community. The community of the college is mostly black, but not the community for which the college resides.
I think I've been to Frankfurt. You're probably similar to what you're talking about.
So it's just unfortunate that, without a doubt, you have, and it's no different because Mr. 1213 just put up something about mass shootings in Chicago. People fail to realize Chicago is only 29 to 33% black. Chicago is not a black city. The narrative nationally is that it's nothing but chaos in this city where black people are shooting and killing each other all the time. And they give you the impression that Chicago is a predominantly black city. But with regards to it being a national story, that's why it was not a national story, because had it been a white man that come on that campus, it would have been a national story, because that fits the narrative of the propaganda that they like to exploit when it comes to crime.
Jim, what do you say to that?
Well, and I think it's interesting, both of your perspectives. Mine's a little different. This is a tragedy. This is a man that died. This is another man who took another man's life that will never get over it. I'm going to tell you that. This guy will live with this the rest of his life, not just because people are in jail for harassing him, because he was forced to protect his family.
Right.
And the real challenge that I have, and we need to open our eyes. We're being programmed to believe that, every time someone takes action, it's a bad thing. Well, I tell you what, if somebody broke into my house and shot me twice, was it a bad gun? Was his gun a bad gun? Am I gun a good gun? There's a lot to talk about, right? There's a lot to unravel. So back in the 90s, the CDC said that there's about 2.5 million per year. What they called it was defensive gun use, DGUs. And the government said, you can't release those statements. Everytown USA says it's 70,000 a year. I don't know, but I can give you 5 or 6 examples where a good guy with a gun in Traverse City and Wayne, Michigan and Romulus, just that in Kentucky, that just happened in the last few weeks. So it's happening more than what every town says, 70,000 a year. I don't know if it's happening 3.5 million times a year, but we need to know. We need to know these facts. They don't want us to know these facts.
And what's interesting, Jim, you brought up something unintentionally, but when I talk about the media not talking about it, here's what's interesting. Guess who is talking about it? Second Amendment advocates as well as gun rights advocates. A friend of mine who's a gun advocate, he was telling me just yesterday that the gun advocates and the Second Amendment folks are hailing the father as a hero because they're saying he used his gun the way it's supposed to be used to defend himself based on the Second Amendment right to carry a firearm. So that, and these magazines are not probably read by a lot of black people, but they're being read by people, and this will be they're hailing the father as a hero, and he does not want that attention.
But they have their agenda too, right? Yeah, I'm not in favor of using this to your advantage. Go ahead, Vanessa. I want to say hi to Cynthia and Derek Henry and Tamika.
Right. I was going to
Karen C.
I was going to address those people.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you've already done it. Hey, y'all. Hey,
JD, 8460.
I'm so happy you're here, Tracy Huff. Listen,
Tracy.
that QR code is up here for a reason. We want
Angela.
you guys to join in. Angela Beatty. Hey, Angie. Hey, cuz. Felicia D. Listen, we want you guys to use that QR code. The other day, Tracy Huff, she used the QR code. If you don't want your face to show, fine. But we want you to join in the conversation. It's called Detroit in Black and White.
And she was great, wasn't she?
Well,
Tracy was great.
So you know what, Mr. 1213, we want to hear your voice. You don't have to show us your face. Why don't you use that QR code to come on in? Cynthia Johnson, I know what your
Tamika.
face is like. We want you to come on in. How about you, Felicia Dean? We want you to join in. Stephanie Jackson. Stephanie always has something to say.
The voice of reason, always.
We want you. I don't know about that.
I see her as a voice of reason.
We want you to chime in, give your opinion about whether or not you think that this was a one-day story or a no story, basically, because it was, as Eric would say, black on black crime.
But no one should be rah-rah in it. That's what I have trouble.
For me, if it happens in a community in which you live and your community is predominantly whatever color it is, it's crime. It's not black on black crime. Stephanie's laughing out loud. We want to hear your voice. I think
it's tragic. It's tragic.
Yes, I think that is very tragic. And I understand why the father did what he did. I can't say as a mother, and let me say this, I'm on the record, I'll say this. I don't own a gun, okay? I don't know how to use a gun. I don't own a gun. I will tell you why I don't have a gun. At one point in time in my life, I had a very volatile temper, and I felt like if somebody said something to me, if they looked at me wrong, I probably would take my gun out and shoot them. I didn't trust Vanessa. Of course, I've matured since then, and I just have not taken the time out to A, take lessons on how to use a gun, and B, to even go and buy a gun. However, I do believe in the Second Amendment. If you want a gun and you go and buy a gun legally, it's fine with me. And definitely, if you're protecting yourself and or the defense of others in the right situation, I have no problem with it. So I have no problem with what that man did. The parents took the appropriate steps. They contacted the university and say, hey, my son is being bullied. What are you guys going to do about it? Basically, they said nothing. handle it yourself, as far as I'm concerned. That was the message that they gave him. We're not doing anything, sir. We're not going to do a doggone thing. So he said, you know what? I've got to protect my family. Let me go up here and get my child and put him in a place where he's safe. And you had these people who decided that, you're a punk. Why you up here? Blah, 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 whatever they said. And then guess what? You have one that is no longer here and another one that has been injured. And it looks like his injuries are going to be for, just nothing that he's going to really be able to recover from fully. But at the end of the day, I just had a problem with, like I said, Eric, I had the problem with the terminology. I don't care who uses it. If it's Detroit News, if it's the Washington Post, when it comes to black folks, they say black on black crime, but when crime happens somewhere else, it's just a crime. They don't say white on white crime. They just don't. So I would prefer for it to be crime, because that's in fact what it is. It happened on a campus. It was a HBCU, so you know that what the community makeup looks like, and that's what happened. We have somebody to chime in
Can we
on
take a break?
the phone, but yeah, we're gonna take a break and we'll come back. Detroit in Black and White, our Wednesday Happy New Year's Eve edition.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our midweek's edition. Today is New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve to all of you guys that are joining us via YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever other medium that Detroit Black and White is on. Thank you so much, and we thank you guys so much for joining in the comments. Listen, y'all already know what we want you to do. Not only do we want you to like, subscribe, and share, we want you to join in on this conversation. Okay,
Can I finish?
Go ahead, Jim.
I just want to say this very quickly, briefly. We cannot solve the problem of violence unless we're honest to the people that live in this country, and the press and these, whether it's the NRA, whether it's Everytown, the Brady Group, none of these people are honest to us. All right, they're selling an agenda, and I don't care if it's a young black man, if it's a young white man, if it's a young Asian kid. I don't care. Kids shouldn't be dying, and we need to solve this violence problem, and we can't do it unless people have facts, and we don't have facts.
Well then, Jim, if we've solved the violence problems, then people like you wouldn't have a job. People like me wouldn't have a job. I'm not trying to be funny. The prosecutors wouldn't have a job. The caretakers wouldn't have a job. I mean, are you trying to talk us out of making a living?
I'd be happy to, yeah. If that's what it took, then it would be worth it, right? I mean, all joking aside,
Right.
if we didn't need police officers or defense attorneys or jails, then it would be well worth it. But we're never going to get the truth because it's about agendas.
Right. One of our viewers, I think she made a very interesting comment. That is Jill Sheridan. She says, aside from black on black crime, now I'm concerned about immigrants being scapegoated and demonized. What you guys have to say about that?
She's not wrong. We don't know what's going on out there. You know, the president said that he was going to go after the worst of the worst, and it doesn't look like that's what he's doing. Basically, profile stops out there. ICE is doing profile stops, and I'm completely against that. I support ICE, but I don't know under what directive they're stopping people and trying to communicate with them just to find out, if they're an illegal subject or not. I think that is a problem. Joe Poole talks about gun reform would help. Well, sure. I understand. There's an effort right now to get rid of the red flag laws, and that are in Michigan, and I'm not really in favor of that. I don't think we know if they work yet. In 1 year, we can't know. But Mr. 1213 is talking about our female mayor tomorrow, so that's what I think. Eric?
Well, we have to be real about gun reform. Gun reform is nothing more than propaganda, because when you look at all these, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old youth all across the country, they're not carrying legal guns. The guns that they are using are either stolen or given to them, not through the legal process. So gun reform is just a talking point, because if it was that easy, it would have been done already. So I just don't, always take offense when people say gun reform, because it's nothing but bullshit.
Well, don't be offended. I don't think we have any right to be offended. And that's what I'm not trying to convince I'm trying to share the truth. And I can tell you what the truth is in Australia, right? Bad guys killed good people who couldn't defend themselves because the government decided that they could take care of them. The government can't take care of you. If you think, James Craig got a lot of heat because he said, go get a gun. I wouldn't have said it as a police chief, but I understand what he was trying to say after 30 years of having a gun.
Yeah, well, I was at an event where he spoke, and I didn't understand, especially when you get paid as much as you basically telling people to police themselves. I get it, but I don't get it. But we have a couple of comments I'm going to read. I got a text. Mr. Evans says, why is everyone worried about immigrants when they were profiling us, meaning Black folks? He said, and stopping us and shooting us, and getting us out of our cars without being armed. Nobody's wanting to talk about that. Basically, here's the divide. Now, people are, and there's a lot of people that are like Mr. Evans. Yeah, get these immigrants out of here. It, to me, is conquer and divide, because as far as I'm concerned, it has been a conversation. Was it a good conversation? Has it been a whole lot of actions? It depends on how you look at it. When they were racially profiling folks that look like me, folks that look like Eric, has there been some reforms? Yes. Does racial profiling still exist? Yes. Has there been a conversation? Yes. But, there are some people who feel like, what? They're talking about the immigrants. They're not concerned about us. And Mike Evans is one of them.
It's unresolved. It's never been resolved, right? The issue with the issues have not been resolved. They still need to be resolved. And if you're violating someone's right, it doesn't matter what they look like. I'm not saying some people they're treated more poorly than other people, but to me, it doesn't matter. If you're treating an ICE detainee poorly, that's no different than treating anybody. You just don't have any right to do that. Jill talks about a woman getting stabbed in a bookstore last week. No motive or interaction between the assailant and the victim. Jill, it's going on. It's crazy. Here in Romulus, where Romulus is, at a hotel, they parked too close together. So these young men got stabbed, right? The guy's going to take their life because they parked their car too close. So you're onto something bigger. It's not the chosen weapon. It's the lunacy in the world. And it's not just here. People want to say, oh, it's only the United States. No, it's not. Tokyo, some guy just stabbed 8 people. Somebody just killed 16 people somewhere in South Africa, right? This is going on all over the world. They just want you to believe it only happens here.
Right. And yeah, just to get back to Joku, he made a comment, gun reform would stop the manufacturers from producing excessive guns. They're not producing excessive guns. America has more guns on the streets, the amount of people that live in the country. And not just that, it's snowing outside right now, 20 degrees. I can make a phone call right now and tell someone I need a gun, and I can ride down to Detroit. I can ride up to Ypsilanti. I can ride down to Romulus or Inkster, and I could get a gun. So, again, gun reform is a talking point. It is. There will be a black market like there is right now. So when people say gun reform, what exactly are you talking about? Because it's a utopia as far as I'm concerned, because it'll never happen here in America. It is not the manufacturers, because most people that buy guns, most normal people that buy guns based on the Second Amendment right, do it legally.
And they're gone. You never hear from them again.
So I want to make sure that I'm clear. I just want to make sure I'm clear. You're saying that the talk of gun reform is just that reform.
It's just talk. It's just talk.
Okay, I get it. Stephanie says minds need to be reformed, and I think that she hit the nail on the head. I think that the culture needs to be reformed. People need to think differently and respect one another. There was disrespect that went on over at Kentucky State University. It was disrespect by the people that was bullying that kid. It was also disrespect by the police who said, hey, there's nothing we're going to do. The campus basically said, we're not going to do anything. It was the whole, that thing could have been avoided if some action had been taken. Like, look, guys, you guys can't come here and do this to this young man or these young people.
They were terrorizing them. It's more than bullying.
Yeah, you cannot do that. But everybody said, you know what? Hey, that's your problem. That's not our problem. And that's
it's also a matter of, like they say, you could take the kid out of the city, but not the city out of the kid. You know.
And I think Joe,
some of those individual students that got to be hanging out with some of the locals. As you know, most college campus, we refer to those that are in front of the community, the locals. And when you intermix mentality of not wanting to reform with those that are down there to do the right thing, because one thing that me and Jim didn't speak about, before the guy met his father on a knife, he had not been out of his room for 2 days because he was being terrorized. And that's not a way to live on a college campus.
No.
But here's my point, Eric. I was just going to say this. Yeah. You know, there are methods, there are efforts that are being made all over this country to try and reduce violence. I think Joe Cool's going down that road. But the best way to reduce violence is to hold those that commit violence accountable. And as you see in Kentucky State University, the majority of people were not students, right? But they were allowed to come on campus and terrorize other human beings. Yeah. So this poor father, defending his family, defending his sons that he's just sent off to college to play baseball, he's fearing for the life of his kids, right?
Right, but to Stephanie's as well as to Vanessa's point, until you reform and or change the culture, there will be no reform.
Yeah. I'm going to address some of our viewers. Juan said, hey, Mr. 1213 says the gun buyback was a farce. No criminal would turn in his gun. I concur. Joe Cool says gun reform will stop the manufacturers from producing excessive guns. He went on to say, has anyone asked the indigenous people about getting rid of immigrants?
That'd be us, right?
He says, he goes on to say that you don't understand Eric, but okay. Wano, hey nephew, hey, why don't you come on in? I know you're not afraid. Use that link and come on in and join in the conversation, because I know that you are not just in these YouTube streets, but you out in these streets, so you can weigh in on this conversation. Also, Stephanie says parents of bullies usually uphold their thugs. Wow.
And they're going to jail, the parents. The parents of the dead kid are going to end up in jail for trying to hire somebody to kill the father of the guy that the killer of their son. They're trying to hire people to kill him. Or they were, allegedly, I should say.
Right.
And they've both been charged with a crime, both the mother and the father.
Right.
Stephanie's onto something there.
Right. Joe Cool says if every person was given $1 million for their gun, America would still be in the gun.
So let's talk about that.
Capital of the world. That is true. Yeah, let's talk about it.
That's exactly what I was talking about with Australia, right? This poor 63-year-old Jewish guy's throwing a brick. This poor 60-something man and wife are standing up to this terrorist that has a rifle, and they all lost their lives, right? One man who had courage, who's never had a firearm in his hand, I can tell you that, the fruit seller in his life, because the way he held the gun, I was scared that he was going to hurt himself. But the point is, the Australian government is tightening the grip on their people and saying, we're going to make stronger gun laws. Well, if you're going to make stronger gun laws, then you better protect those people that you took the guns away from. And the United States is a long way from being able to protect our residents.
Well, you know what? It's interesting that this conversation evolved and we're talking about guns because all of us are inside tonight. You know, at midnight, there's the tradition here. What do people do to bring in the new year? What do people do?
What the deputy chief told the people of Detroit, he's going to come get them if they do it.
Okay, good luck with that. You know what's happening. Okay, you know what's happening at midnight. Everybody's going to Happy New Year. And guess what? Somebody's out there, pow, 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 pow.
But it goes on all over Metro Detroit, not just in Detroit.
Absolutely. It goes on all over. I remember, I used to call the police as if they were going to be able to do something because people were shooting. I would be pissed. Okay. And that's before I moved back into the city. But we're talking about we're talking about
violence.
What happened? Gun violence. I was trying to avoid saying that word. But we're talking about that. But this goes to, listen, the mindset has to change. Why is it that you have to celebrate the new year by taking your gun and shooting it in the air? Listen, bullets don't have a name on it. Well, at least those bullets right there, those bullets that they're shooting tonight. And you don't know where they're going to land, who is going to hit or not hit. I just think it's ridiculous. I think it's a horrible tradition. I absolutely cannot stand it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not outside tonight. I'm inside.
And it's not everywhere. When I say it's not everywhere, I've lived in other places. It's not something that happens in Charlotte. When I was in Alabama, it's not something that happens in Alabama. Lansing, I lived in Lansing, it didn't happen here. There. In Taylor. And even out here where I live, last year was popping. I've been out here 27 years. Last year was the first time, I heard an excessive amount of gunfire, but usually, as someone put in the comment, it's fireworks. Mr. 1213 talked about they're starting a tradition of fireworks. So it's a very unfortunate crime because it becomes a crime because there have been instances on New Year's Eve where a bullet goes up, come down, and injures someone.
Well, discharging a firearm in the city limits is in itself a crime, right? It's maybe a misdemeanor, but it's against the law to discharge a firearm.
It's definitely saying not in Mississippi either.
And Joe Cool's asking why can't I think he's asking why the government can't protect us. Well, they can't protect us from knives. They can't protect us from Oklahoma City or 9/11. It's just I don't know why.
Also because the lobbyists are those who fund them in their races, so they have a vested interest in not calling on the NRA or calling on gun manufacturers to produce less guns.
You know what? I'm gonna go to a comment because Mr. 1213. You must have heard my conversation earlier today, Mr. 1213. He says
about Night Watch.
He rarely goes to night watch service at church due to the churchgoers are let out while people are still shooting.
Oh boy.
Aren't you telling the truth? I used to we used to call it night watch service. And even, now I talked about this, was it today or yesterday? I was like, yeah, I go to service and they let service out at midnight and you driving through the streets and you hear all this gunfire. It's just ridiculous. So I'll just stay home. And now, of course, I go to Bedside Tabernacle a lot. I'll just watch it on television. I'll just watch it on these YouTube streets. I'll just watch several services on these YouTube streets. But listen, we were supposed to have two guests tonight, and they're having technical difficulties.
Oh boy.
Well, they'll come on, and we'll set it up where they come on another on another day.
Well, we have a lot of people tuning in tonight,
But
Vanessa.
we have a
So
lot of people tuning in, but they're not. Well, what are you afraid of? Now, somebody just texted me and said they're on their phone. I don't know if they're on their phone trying to get in, if they're trying to get in using the QR code or whatever the case may be. But listen, Bedside Tabernacle, absolutely, Joe Cool. That's where I go. I go to Bedside Tab. Yep.
I just
Um,
want
so
I want to say thanks to everybody that's willing to spend their evening with us tonight. We appreciate us.
yep.
We're glad
Uh,
you're here.
Yep. So let's turn the conversation to
Should we take a break before we do?
we're gonna take a break and then we'll turn the conversation to what tomorrow is the new day.
Mary.
New Mary.
Mary
Yes.
Sheffield.
Yep.
No more Mary. Mayor Sheffield.
Right.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Wednesday evening edition. Listen, I got a text. I want them to read the bottom of the screen. The bottom of the screen tells you just how you can use the QR code. Reading is fundamental. That's something that's very dear to Eric Brown's heart. And yes, I am being shady. You asked me, how do I scan? Read the bottom of the screen. It tells you how to scan. Want to be on the show and share your thoughts? Scan the QR code on the top left corner of your screen. Camera shy, you can turn off your camera and just have audio, just like calling into a radio station. Give it a try. So take your phone, go to the camera, QR code, and then you cooking with oil. Okay.
Cynthia went to noon service. There was no gunfire there.
Right. And it was crowded. And she said, guess a lot of people don't like going to night watch service.
Thank you,
I stopped going. Cynthia and I are friends. I haven't been to church for a night service in a few years. I think the last time I went was right before COVID. So it's been quite some time. It says, Timothy Squarebase says, I don't know how to use that. Huh?
I think you must be talking about the QR. Maybe.
I don't
know.
Hey,
Timothy, thanks for joining us.
Look, I know Big Latin Timothy Squarebase, but I don't know that. So, tomorrow we will officially have a mayor, female mayor, the first female mayor, the city of Detroit, Mayor Sheffield. And Eric, I understand, aren't you going to some of the festivities?
I didn't say I got the invite to the inauguration.
Okay, are you going to go?
I haven't decided yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I know there was a open invitation for people to go to the inauguration. I think there's some.
Oh, yeah, I got that too. Yeah, the inauguration. The inauguration.
But yeah, I was telling somebody earlier today that I feel a certain kind of way. I think you should. The fact that you have been elected, that is something to be celebrated. But I also am always concerned about the optics and what it looked like. We've had these stories that are going on about all these shelters. There's a lot of people that are unhoused, right? And these shelters that are in great disrepair, toilets not working, they don't have enough room for these people and all this. I don't know how you could celebrate knowing those kind of things. And I'm not saying that you should not, but maybe you shouldn't have something so big. Maybe you should have something small. I've been wrestling with that all day and thinking about that all day. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm excited that we have some new blood in office. Let's see what happens. I'm hoping that she is successful, because if she wins, we win. So
Hey,
that's how.
Jill, you use your camera. You open your camera and you cover that with the camera, and it should pop right up on there. I think.
Get ready to show you. So you go to camera, and you go to the QR code, and it said open in Chrome. You open it up,
And you're with us, right?
and then you write in the studio. You write in the studio. It's very easy.
But if you
And
can't do it today, Jill, maybe we'll see you on Friday. If you can't make it today, but we'd love to see you.
One of the things you spoke about, Vanessa, you want her to be successful. And one of the unfortunate parts about that is there will be a different level of scrutiny on her than it was with regards to the previous administration. And, she can't even sneeze and pick her nose at the same time without.
it's a different set of circumstances, will you say, Eric?
But you're already hitting on it, Vanessa, right? I'm sorry, Eric.
Yeah. It's a different set of circumstances.
Well, the circumstances is, elephant in the room is color and gender. And even when this week, the farewell messages that were being put out by the outgoing mayor, I just found to be so amazing at times, because it's still, and I said this from the start, I said it to Adolph and he just joined us. They're going to put the narrative out that this man saved the black folk in Detroit. And that's one of the issues that Mary's going to have to deal with, because she won't have that same grace. Excuse me. That's one of the issues that Mayor Sheffield is going to have to deal with, because she won't have that same grace. And for those that have been paying attention, that first 4 years, he got a mulligan for year 5 through 12.
So, but Eric, I'm going to say this. There is going to be a different level of scrutiny, but there's a different set of circumstances. When the outgoing mayor was selected, or whatever you want to call it.
He was anointed. He wasn't selected. He was anointed. And nobody believes that he won on the right end. But you know what? If she was independent from the get, when she got in the race, obviously she was head and shoulders above everybody that was in the race, because she started a year before all of them. She should have said, I'm not connected to him. But she did not, because she is connected to him. And he was smart. Duggan is a smart politician.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Listen, we had Todd Medicine on our show many times.
Mm-hmm.
There was talk out in the community that Todd Medicine should run for mayor, because Todd Medicine was seen all over the place, etc. Guess what Duggan do? He appoints him the police chief. He gets him out of the way of Mary, because I believe if a person like Todd Medicine got in there, they would have had to run a whole different kind of campaign, because he would have been out there. So Mary was his choice, and he got Mary. We're going to see if Mary, Mayor Sheffield, that's who she is, if she is going to piss on the Democratic Party just like Duggan just did, and support Duggan.
So, but Adolph, the question though is, do you believe that she's going to get a different level of scrutiny from the media?
All different mayors get different level of scrutinies. Dennis Archer got a different level of scrutiny where they kissed his ass, because they had 20 years of being pissed on by Coleman Young. And then when Dennis Archer left under a cloud, The people don't remember. They got 60-something thousand signatures to recall him. And Jackie Curry and them say, "Oh, ain't no recall." And yes, it was a recall. That's why he didn't run again. And then when he got in there, Yeah, whoever's going to be the new mayor, the new president, the new governor, yeah, they're going to be. It depends on their personality and how they got there. Yeah, she's
Oh,
going to be treated differently than Duggan because Duggan came and people were saying, "Yeah, maybe it's time that we have a white mayor, or it's time that Duggan come and save us." A little pickaninnies here in Detroit. Yeah, and there he is, and he said, "I saved them. I did what I did. I saved them. Yeah, I changed the narrative. He ain't changed shit. He ain't changed shit. That's some bullshit."
And the
so
sad part about that is that people are believing that, and that's one of the problems I have because I
Those
tell
some
people do
stupid,
your
those some
research.
stupid assholes that believe that.
listen. You cannot take away, and I've heard you even say that he's had some successes here in the
Oh,
city.
yeah, he has some successes. If you give me $50 million, Vanessa, if you give me the day tomorrow, I'll come over to your place and get $50 million. I'm gonna have a lot of successes.
Listen, it was
Time he left, every time he
just
left under a cloud. He left under the feds investigating him. He got to the DMC. Granholm gave him $100 million fucking dollars. He's been anointed. He's a lucky motherfucker.
But define the successes, Vanessa, because I mean, when you say successes outside of mid court and downtown, what are these successes? Because I tell
listen.
people right now, if people need to understand that dirt contamination issue is going to become a major problem. I don't know why people are not talking about that.
Here's a
And
problem.
it's gonna come on
Let me
Mary.
say
And,
this.
and Mary gonna have to deal with it.
She is going to have to deal with it. But let me say this. You, and I've said this before, you cannot have a thriving city. And I think Jim and you, Adolph, will agree with me. If you don't have a thriving downtown, you got to start.
Listen,
Wait a minute. Let me
I
finish. He
sat with
asked me a
Coleman
question.
Young.
He
We said
asked
that.
me a
How
question.
long are we gonna say
He
it?
asked me
50
a question.
years.
Can I finish?
50 years. I was with Coleman Young in the 80s and then the 90s,
No, the
and that's
70s.
all we were talking about.
They started talking about a thriving downtown back in the 70s when Coleman Young was first elected. So you can't keep saying that, Vanessa,
But
because
that diamond,
Tell me what I can
no,
keep saying. I
Eric,
keep
you're
saying
wrong,
what
Eric.
I
You're
can.
wrong because
No, you
a
don't like what
thriving
I
downtown
listen.
didn't
You can't
come.
speak what I can't say because I'm going to say it. And if you don't like my opinion, that's fine. That's why it's called Detroit in Black and White.
Nobody cares about your opinion, but
He
you.
asked me.
So say it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And don't be doing your hand like that to me, sir.
Listen, Coleman Young. Listen, the downtown was dead in the 80s.
That was 5 million years ago. Don't nobody want to hear that.
No, it ain't. Yeah, we gonna listen to it because going back 20
They
years,
want
100 years, we gotta remember how we got here. We didn't get here. We
And
didn't get
so
here.
let's remember that when Mayor Duggan came into office, we were in a bankruptcy. He had a blank checkbook and said, "Hey,
Right.
how
Okay.
I want to paint this." Okay. I am, listen, I'm going to give you your credit and I'm going to dog you out when you need to be dogged out. Could there have been more things done? Absolutely. That dirt issue, absolutely is an issue. The whole thing about the lady and the kids that was killed in the car, that thing seems to have been swept under the rug, but it looks like something else is looming
And
around.
he gave his woman 500,000 and nobody said nothing.
Oh,
He
Jim,
gave his woman 500,000. He bought a piece of his wife for 500,000. He gave it to her, and Kwame, and I don't like Kwame now, and I helped Kwame get reelected, etc. He got sentenced for 28 years for poontang. Duggan gave his
he did
poontang
not.
500,000
That is
and
not.
and married her,
That
and
is
his wife left him.
that is
And when
absolutely not true.
Kwame went to jail for some poontang.
Which
That's
one?
all that was. That's all that was
Are
about.
you talking about the federal case, or you talk about the state case? Because
I'm talking about Kim Worthy, and
state
the feds and all them got together and they put Kwame in jail for some bullshit. Kwame didn't go to jail. He didn't go to jail for stealing millions of dollars. He went to jail for poontang. That's what he went to jail for.
Case. Were you questioned by the were you
I went to the grand jury twice.
the money from a nonprofit? Stop it.
I got paid from the nonprofit. Bob Bird got paid from the nonprofit. All the people from DC got paid from a nonprofit. It don't matter. He was the mayor of Detroit.
Can we say hello to Ira Todd, a DPD legend, the man that held the DPD together for 30 years? You're my hero, Ira Todd.
Ira Todd should be everybody's hero. Because Ira Todd was a bad dude. I like Ira Todd.
He's the glue that held that police department together, man.
Well, he's not a cop anymore.
I want to thank Ira for joining my show this past Monday. It was his first time on my show as a viewer and co-host, and I appreciate that, Ira.
But I'm gonna tell you, listen. I hope I've been knowing Mary Sheffield, the new mayor, a long time, and I swear I hope she be successful. But it's a couple things that she got to do. That she got to get off her back. She got to get Duggan off her back, where people don't think Duggan is calling the shots, and got to get her daddy off her back. And I know Mary is an independent person, period. And if we're going to see some of the next appointments in her administration, we'll see who she's going to appoint.
Happy
not just that, her father has already endorsed Jocelyn. So Jocelyn Benson, Secretary of State. So this endorsement for governor is going to be very important for her, because I don't see how she cannot endorse Duggan based on.
But you know what? That's her father. That might be a good thing for her. Ain't no question. Listen, I wouldn't be mad at her if she endorsed Duggan.
I wouldn't either.
He made it possible for her to be mayor. He could have got in her way, and somebody else could have been the mayor. I'm just telling you that, it's politics at work. Jim, what you gonna say?
Can't we just stop and leave the new mayor do her thing? I mean,
no, we can't stop. We can't stop. I'm not stopping.
We talked about a different standard.
He's part of that scrutiny.
I'm not going to stop.
Standard, and Vanessa, then you said she should have a smaller event. Let her enjoy her victory. Let her
do the Detroit dance and shit. Let her do whatever she want to do.
You are judging. We can't judge her on this show.
I'm judging her because people judge me. I'm judging her. Thumbs down. I didn't vote for her. I didn't support her. I don't care about her, but I hope she's successful.
I'm waffling with that. I understand she should celebrate. I don't want her not to celebrate, but I said that I would be concerned about that.
Aren't you going?
No, I'm not going.
She came to your party.
She didn't. She did not come to my party. She didn't come because she knew.
And I wasn't coming on because I was sad today. Because my team lost, but that's all right.
They lost.
They lost.
But
the bottom line is, y'all made me come on because y'all was talking all that Yang, that Detroit Yang stuff. So
we were looking for you in the stands. I was looking for you on the 50.
You ain't looking for me. We was with the Michigan people. We was with the Michigan people. But anyway. Hey, you know what? I'll be back in Detroit Friday. We can continue this conversation. Vanessa, Eric, Jim, Thank
we
you.
just a tip of a hat. I don't even know who.
And I say goodbye. I can say goodbye to all the people that talk all that shit. Can we just get along? He been dead a long time. We
Top of your
can't get
hat.
along.
We don't see you.
Happy New
We
Year, Adolf. Happy
Hey,
New Year.
listen. Can we
Happy
just get
New Year,
along?
Ira.
Rodney King been dead how many years? 20 years?
Mr.
I ain't
12,
been out.
long time. Timothy, Happy New Year. Jill Sheridan, hope you're warm, warmer than we are. It don't sound like it's warm in Orlando.
I was only
It's cold as hell. It's cold as hell.
Janet overall, Happy New Year.
Yeah, the Happy New Year to all my fellow Detroit and black and whites. I want to say, as the new year, as this old year go out and the new year come in, I just want to thank all y'all for supporting me in my times when it was tough for me, and from the beginning of 2025 to almost the end of 2025, I couldn't recuperate and survive without the friendship of the folks on Detroit and Black and White. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I know a lot of times we yell and we overtalk each other and all this other stuff, but we know it's a good thing. We can all agree to disagree, and we come back the next show, and we're fine. So I want to thank y'all. Happy New Year. And Teresa, I love you, Teresa. I don't love them, but I love you.
I hope her husband's not watching tonight.
Happy New Year.
Stephanie,
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year. Joe Cool. Wano, Happy New Year to everybody. It's been a
Safe
pleasure.
travels back, Adolf.
Lord Jesus.
If I missed
Yeah,
anybody,
he's
I
back. I
apologize.
said that the other day. I was like, oh Lord, he is back for real, for real. But people that watch Detroit Black and White, they love it that he's back.
Sheila,
And
Happy New Year.
I hate that I allow him to get me riled up. But at any rate, you guys have a safe. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. Versus him, and then the second person that gets me riled up is guess.
Go look in the mirror. Go look in the mirror.
We wouldn't be here without all our friends out here. Thank you,
Right.
everybody.
Right. We miss him tonight. Hopefully he's safe. But Happy New Year to all of you guys. And we'll see you again on Friday. Bye.